Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of The Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and tonight we are celebrating a very special occasion in the history of Egypt, the 9th of March, celebrating Martyrs' Day, as we will be focusing more on the attendance of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the 37th Cultural Symposium for the Armed Forces entitled The Price that was paid for the security, for the stability of the nation ever since, not just in 2011 or 2013 and up till now, but throughout the history of Egypt over the past decades and hundreds of years. And I am honored to be having with me in the program for tonight to be shedding more light on such a special occasion in the history of the country is General Mohamed, Shahawy, the strategic expert and analyst. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate. Anytime. First of all, we'll be starting straight away with a report regarding the statements made by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Martyrs' Day, honoring the names and the families of the martyrs from the armed forces and the police or the security forces, protecting Egypt in general, protecting and paying the ultimate price for the security and stability of the country, and more specifically in Sinai ever since 2009 or 2011 and up till now. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report about the price of eliminating terrorism in Sinai and in Egypt in the upcoming report, so stay tuned.
President Fattah al-Sisi attended the 37th Armed Forces Cultural Symposium on Martyrs' Day, Thursday, in attendance of many high-ranking officers, figures and ministers, as well as some mothers of armed forces martyrs. He said that Egypt's dream of eliminating terrorism has come true thanks to martyrs' sacrifices, and warned of the ultimatum risk of terrorism, referring back on the war of terror the country waged in the aftermath of 2011 Arab Spring. President Sisi urged all Egyptians to be cautious and to prevent the destruction Egypt could have witnessed over the past 10 years from taking place, stressing that destroying the country at the hand of its people is cheaper than destroying it by the hands of animals. The President underscored the need to protect the homeland and prevent the occurrence of any sabotage actions in Egypt, stressing that Egypt witnessed great achievements over the past 10 years thanks to God and the state sacrifices of army, police and all Egyptians. The President said that they chose to walk in a parallel line between eliminating terrorism and implementing development plans, stressing that we must remain aware of the dangers surrounding the state. The President promised families of martyrs to celebrate the Martyrs' Day in Sinai to be proud of such great sacrifices. The seminar started with screening a documentary film on the efforts exerted to realize development and achievements to change the nation's conditions, especially those who sacrificed their lives for the nation, and called for cherishing these sacrifices by maintaining the achievement realized. Another documentary film was screened under the title of Immortal Icons, which highlighted the outstanding championships of Egyptian martyrs whose name will be immortal. After the second film, a show was presented to narrate a story of 3 armed forces martyrs in Sinai, after which he saluted their mothers and honored them. President Sisi posed for a photo with 3 mothers of martyrs at the 37th Cultural Seminar of the Armed Forces. The Armed Forces Martyrs' Day, marked annually on the 9th of March, was designated in honor of former Army Chief of Staff Abdel Menem Riyad, who died on that day in 1969.
You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having on a very special episode, a very special day in the history of Egypt, General Mohamed Shahawy, to be shedding more light on the events that took place today on Martyrs' Day. General Shahawy, as we did see today, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi attending the 37th Cultural Symposium of the Armed Forces on Martyrs' Day and celebrating the names and the families of the martyrs, honoring the names and the families of the martyrs as well. How do you see the importance of commemorating such an important day, which falls on the 9th of March, as in 1969, the former Armed Forces Chief of Staff, General or Lieutenant General Abdul Mun'im Riyad has fell martyr on this day?
First, it is such an honor, a privilege, and a pleasure to be interviewed in your program, Daily Debate.
Thank you so much.
And in the beginning, and on the occasions of the 54th anniversary of the Martyr Days, I would like to salute the Egyptian Armed Forces. In addition to that, I would like to salute the spirit of Lieutenant General Abdul Mun'im Riyad, who sacrificed by his life, by his spirit to live Egypt. Furthermore, I would like to salute the souls of our martyrs. And in addition to that, I would like to salute our heroes, our soldiers, who are leading the battle of terrorism and the battles of constructions and development. In fact, we celebrate these occasions, the Martyr Days,
yes,
as an embodiment of lofty principles and noble value that our righteous martyrs make it and sacrifice their lives to achieve the security and the stability of Egypt. They preserve and protect our national security. Also, we take inspirations from the martyrs. These inspirations such as will, patience, determination, and the strength of faith, and also they achieve the security of our homeland. This is our martyrs. About the speech of our President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi today, that he witnessed the 37th Cultural Symposium of the Armed Forces today, entitled The Prices. The prices of what?
Yes.
The prices of the blood that we have through the last 10 years. We had a lot of victims, a lot of soldiers and officers that died, reached to more than 3,200 martyrs, and about 12,000 of soldiers and officers also had been injured. For that reason, there is a big price paid to eradicate terrorism and to liberate our land and to secure our national security. For that reasons, today we celebrate about these occasions and this Martyrs' Day. As you say, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi today had a lot, the speech of President al-Sisi had a lot of messages.
Yes.
The first message is the price of eradicating terrorism. The second message is that gratitude and appreciations to the families of the martyrs and the injured also. And he gave him a big hand that they are do this action. The third message is that no terrorism can defeat a nation if the country is one hand. And the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he pointed at that. There is a big price paid to eradicate tourism, as I said before. But the first important message is that we are fine, and the economic crisis is not the real measure. In addition to that, we must be alert and let the weapon be ready, because the terrorists, they can come at any time. So we have to open our eyes to defend and to defeat them. Also, without the souls of our martyrs and the efforts of our simple Egyptian families, we were not able to put an end to the terrorism and the devastation through the last 10 years. For that reason, I think the martyrs, we celebrate with them, and the state put a plan to support the families and the children, as we say today.
Yes, General Shahawy, will be taking a quick break and we'll be returning once again to you on the Daily Debate to be celebrating Martyrs' Day, so stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate. General Shahawy, as we did see throughout the day, throughout the 37th Cultural Symposium, and with the attendance of His Excellency President Sisi, a lot of children, a lot of families, a lot of widows as well were there and were honored, and the names of the martyrs were honored, and the injured were honored as well. But I would like to be focusing on the children, because the main message of the children is that we will be growing up and we will continue the journey of our fathers. How do you see the battle of awareness for the whole of the Egyptian people, seeing the children of the martyrs nowadays?
I think the children of our righteous martyrs, they are proud with their fathers and their relatives.
Yes.
They are proud because with pure blood, they liberate our land, and they sacrificed their lives to leave Egypt. For that reason, I think all the state and all the citizens, they must encourage them, and they stand behind them to be and complete the way that his father done. For that reason, and when we talk about the children, the history says that the blood of their fathers make the Egypt civilization, and right by their hands the future of our country, and also this is prepare the way to make the constructions of mega project and the national project, such as during the last 10 years, we carried out a lot of these projects, maybe more than 30,000, and the cost is more than 8 trillion. For that reason, we have to be happy with them, and also I think they are very proud that their fathers be a martyr, and by their struggle, they defend our land, and they kept our span of sand of our lands, and they rebuild our enemies, and for that we have to be happy with all the sons of martyrs, because they will continue their way and their path in the future. The President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, when he carried a lot of small, little children,
yes,
and young people and young children, he was very happy about them, and gave them the morale, and he insists to shed a light about the role of martyrs. For that reasons, we celebrate by that day every year, and I wanted to shed a light about why why the state it chose 9th of March. Why 9th of March? Although the history of Egypt full of signs of heroism and redemption.
Yes.
Because this 9th of March was the decisive way, the decisive date for the round of Arab-Israeli conflict, and gave the Egyptian military about the hand of that, and because also the Egypt shifted from the struggle of steadfastness to the stage of attrition, and for that reasons this was one of the most important things that happened. For that reason, Egypt never forgets its son who sacrificed by their life, whether they were murdered or injured or lost parts of their bodies. We saw today some of the officers lost his legs or his arms, and he was in high morale, and he achieved heroism in another field, in a sport, not in the fighting. And also, for that reason, also, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the state put a plan to support them and to give them a morale and to give them and facilitate any difficulties for them.
We have seen the number of terrorist operations that took place ever since 2011 and up till 2014, and of course they decreased gradually up till now. Do you think that the statements made by His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi regarding eliminating terrorism in Sinai in specific would be the death certificate of terrorism in the country for a whole?
I think through 10 years, the last 10 years, a lot of terroristic operations was done.
Yes.
Do you know that from 2013, 14 and 15, there was 1,339 terroristic operations. And this is make a lot of victims of our soldiers and our officers.
Yes.
For that reasons, the state and Egypt make a plan to demolish and to destroy and to eradicate the elements of the terrorists through military action and also through development. So the states made a lot of projects in Sinai, reached to 460 national projects in Sinai. And this costs more than 480 billion pounds. For that reason, the state go into parallel lines. First one, eradicate and combat and fight terrorism. The second lane, on the second hand, they also made a lot of constructions and development. For that reasons, I know and I wanted to stress about the heroism and redemption throughout history for our officers, for our officers and soldiers.
Yes.
Let me say something that the choice of March 9th to commemorate the martyrdom of Lieutenant General Abdel Riyad. He was the chief of staff of the armed forces, and when the state shifted and changed it from the stage of steadfastness to state of attrition, he insisted to go to the front, to the Ismailiyah, to what we call about investigate and to monitor about the occasions and the situation on the ground. For that reasons, on 8th of March, the day before, the Egyptian artillery opened its fire about the Israeli positions, especially in Barleif line, and destroyed a lot of them. a lot of this of the fortifications of the Barleaf line. On the second day, he insisted to go to the ground and to monitor and to control about this battle. And after his arrivals with 15 minutes, a shell hit the place and he was martyred. The command of the site was Lieutenant Colonel Leon Mus'ab Tadros. He is Coptic and also he injured in this accident. But when he held, he treated and he participated in the October War. And this give us a message that Egypt is one fabric. There is no difference between Catholic, between Muslims and the Coptic. And you know that the first one who martyred in the October War was the brigadier. He was a very important brigadier, and he is commander of an infantry brigade. He is Tadros, and he martyred in the first day of the war. For that reason, I say that the sand of Sinai was shed and was watering by the blood of our martyrs, Egyptian martyrs. For that reason, I think I say that Egypt is one fabric. There is no difference between any citizen.
Yes, exactly. As we did see in the space of about a month, His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was in Ismailia as well in the past couple of weeks to be checking out the construction equipment going to Sinai, to be developing Sinai. As you've mentioned, that the battle of development is going hand in hand with the battle against terrorism, for the security, for stability of Sinai, for Egypt in general, and the battle of development is going hand in hand with it at the same time, simultaneously. What does this say for the residents of Sinai, that there is security, but there will be development as well for the future? And it says a lot for the Egyptians as well living outside of Sinai.
I thank you very much for these good questions, because as we fight terrorism through the last years, now we face battles of development, the battle of construction. So after we finish and combating and fighting and eradicating the terrorism, now we ready to make the development in Sinai. As I said before, there was a lot of project in it.
Yes.
Why? To create an opportunity of deployment, opportunity to work in Sinai from our citizens of Sinai.
For employment. For employment,
yes. And also the tools and what we say in the last week, this is the beginning of development and construction. For that reason, I think the two battles are parallel to each other. We fight in one hand and we construct and build a lot of projects in the other hand.
Today we have seen one of the residents of Sinai was honored as well for being injured during the security operations against terrorism and the terrorist elements in Sinai. What does this say about the importance of the residents of Sinai in terms of eliminating terrorism, fighting against the terrorist elements alongside the security forces and the armed forces, and working for their development as well for the area?
The sons of Sinai is very important, and they help our armed forces in all stages during the combating and the fighting the terrorists, and they give us information to the armed forces about the terrorists, and some of them is killed, some of them is injured. For that reason, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he honored a lot of them today, and he honored the families of the martyrs and the injured. And we saw some persons injured in October War, and he honored by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. So the cooperation and collaborations between the families and the sons of Sinai is very important and very benefits to our armed forces because they consider our eyes in the place.
Yes.
Because they know about some of those terrorists. For that reasons, our president today, he says that he will make an exceptions, and these exceptions he will put the pictures and the photos of all these killers and for these terrorists, and also the all the weapons and the weapons and the vehicles
Yes.
that the terrorists can fight by it. For that reason, I think these exceptions will be very important to our citizens, to our youth, to our children, to know that the fighting terrorism was not easy because a lot of money, a lot of lives. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said today that each month the Egypt paid £1 billion for
At least every month.
for 90 months. For this, I think this nearly 100 billion pound we lost it in this battle, in this war. And I said this is a war.
Yes.
There is a difference between a conventional or traditional war and the war against terrorism, because in traditional war you know the enemy and you know his plan and you know his organization, but you don't know the enemy of the terrorism.
President Assisi said that it is easier for the other side to be battling you from within. The enemy is from within you.
Yes, because he is maybe behind you and he is hidden in any places and you don't know. He has said he put on our clothes and he lives with us and he can stop us from the back.
On the other hand, one of the very important points raised by His Excellency President Assisi today during the symposium is that ever since 2008 and 2009, there were preparations for the terrorists to be located in Sinai, to be storing facilities and storing ammunition and weaponry for what is going to happen in 2011. So we need to be taking care that what happened in 2008 and up till 2011, there were preparations for it and we need the awareness. Do you think that the Egyptians have learned the lesson this time around?
Yes, I think Egyptians have to learn and know about these lessons because they prepared themselves on 2008, 2009, and also they prepared all the weapons and they make fortification and they make tunnels that you know that through this 10 years, Egypt and the Egyptian armed forces destroyed a lot of tunnels and shelters, maybe 27,000. And also the four-wheel vehicles, I think more than 1,000 four-wheel vehicles.
Yes.
Also the Egyptian armed forces destroyed it, and a lot of explosive devices and many things. Our armed forces destroyed it. For that reasons, Sinai now is under our hand. There is no any span without our control. And our armed forces in all places in Sinai. In the past, there was a lot. There is not many of weapons in Sinai. But now, to fight terrorism and with coordinates with Israel, we bought a lot of arms and tanks and all the weapons in Sinai to prepare us to defeat and to not be astonished when these elements come again. So our citizens has to know that we have to be ready. We have to don't be make this again. 2011, I think, make a lot of devastations, make a lot of the separations between the Egyptians, but our armed forces and civilians, police, I think they make a lot of efforts to be stable and make the ground is clear, to make a lot of project as we see now.
One of the statements made by His Excellency President Al-Sisi as well is that, and you've mentioned it, the economic crisis that is going on throughout the world, not just for Africa or for Egypt or for the Arab world, it shouldn't be the measure to be seeing the success of what we have had here in Egypt ever since 2011 or 2014 to be specific, because we had a number of years of instability, of revolutions, of uprising, of continuous protests. Do you think that all of this has ended, specifically the protests and the revolutions or the uprisings that led to insecurity and led to instability, as we did see in other countries that are still going through the same circumstances up till now?
I think when we make a balance between stability, between security of the nation, between about when we are in peace, on the other hand, when we are fighting the terrorism, and there are a lot of victims for that, and there is a lot of money. We lost it through these 10 years,
yes,
more than 100 billion. For that reason, I think we learn and know the lesson, and we will not make what it is not benefit for our nation. We have to preserve and support our nation, because instead of that, we'll be in devastations, we will not be in peace.
We have seen over the years and even today the documentaries or the docudramas that are depicting the stories of the heroes of the armed forces and the police and the security forces in Sinai, like today the Immortal Icons, the documentary that we have seen today. What is the importance of speaking to the people through this media, and more specifically because we are going through the month of Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan, in about 2 weeks' time? We have seen the success of Al-Ikhtiyar over the past 3 seasons, the choice that we have seen over the past 3 years. How do you think this is important nowadays in the battle for awareness and the battle against terrorism?
I think the artists and the videos that we saw today, it's very important to shed a light about the heroism, the redemptions of our heroes,
yes,
and about the martyrs who shed their lives to leave Egypt. I think this the artist is very important today and also in Ramadan.
Yes, General Mohamed Shahawy, the strategic analyst and expert, thank you very much for being with us today on the Daily Debate.
Thank you very much, and I thank you for giving such opportunity to shed a light about this Martyrs' Day.
Anytime. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.